And what would it have been like if you would have been one of those telling your story of how you met and knew Jesus that night?
It was a different kind of Passover, to say the least. I remember right when I sat down, Philip leans over to me and he whispers and he says, "Hey, Thomas, I got a feeling that something special is gonna happen tonight." I just looked at him and I shook my head and said, "I doubt it." I was wrong. Seconds later, Jesus gets up.
Were you there?
Jesus? Seconds later, Jesus gets up from the table and he walks over and he grabs a bowl of water and a towel. And I remember I was like, what is Jesus doing with the foot water? I doubt he's gonna wash anybody's feet with it. I was wrong again. Right then, Jesus bends down and he begins to wash Bartholomew's feet. Bart, he just sat there. He didn't say anything. He didn't move. None of us did. And I thought to myself, this is so strange, but so wonderful. I can't imagine anybody's gonna say anything right now. But I was wrong again. You know who broke the silence?
No way you're gonna wash my feet. That's what I told him.
Peter.
You could wash anyone else's feet, but you're not gonna wash mine. So I turned to Jesus and I said, "Jesus, you're not gonna wash my feet. I mean, you're the king, right?" And he looked at me and he said, "Peter, you can have nothing to do with me. Nothing." And I'm like, "Okay, wash my feet, wash my hands, wash my whole body if you have to." And he's like, "No, Peter, no. Your feet, they'll do just fine." In the midst of washing our feet, Jesus teaches us something about servanthood.
Then he gets up and Jesus takes some bread and some wine and he blessed it and he served it to us. He said it was a new covenant with his blood. And then he said something that I'll never forget. He said that on that night, we'd all lose faith in him. I remember thinking, lose faith in you? Oh, never. I'm never gonna lose faith in you. But I didn't say anything. I just sat there.
I couldn't just sit there. I had to say something. So I looked at Jesus and I said, "Jesus, I love you. I mean, you can count on me. Everyone may fall away, but Jesus, you can count on me." And he looked at me and he said, "Peter, you will deny me 3 times before the morning. 3 times." And I'm like, ouch, ouch. Next thing you knew it, we were wrapping things up and heading to the Garden of Prayer.
Once we got to the garden, Jesus asked James and Peter and myself to go a little further with him in the garden and pray. And we did. We tried. We just kept falling asleep. And Jesus, well, he just kept waking us up. And then finally he said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." That's true. It's such a blur. And to think, this whole mess got started because of Judas. Did he really think what he was doing was right?
There he is. That's the one you want. He's the one praying by himself. Now the others, they're probably going to try and come up and create a scene. But the one that I kiss on the cheek, that's the one you want. 30 pieces of silver for this, right? 30 pieces? That's what we agreed on? All right, now forget about the rest. The one that I kiss on the cheek, that's the one you want.
A kiss? Judas betrays Jesus with the kiss of a friend? And then things got out of control. Peter picks up this sword and he cuts off this guy's ear. And Jesus, he just reached down and picked up the ear and put it right back on his head as if nothing happened. And then they came and they took him away. I would love to tell you that we fought for him, but we didn't. Everybody ran. I ran. I am so ashamed.
What have I done? What have I done? I mean, how could I have been so stupid to think that I killed him? I killed him. I crucified Jesus.
I crucified Jesus. That's what the crowd wanted, and that's what they got. When the governor gave his order, I went to work. I loved crucifying men. Every time I hung a man on a tree, I felt like I was administering justice. But that man, he didn't deserve this.
Makes no sense. Here I was, rotting in jail for stealing, murdering. You name it, I had done it. I knew the next time I stepped a foot outside that jail cell, that was it. So the guards, they came and got me. And they put me beside this guy who had been beaten to a pulp. And Governor Pilate, well, he started asking the crowd, which one of these men do you want me to set free? Well, it was obvious. They were going to say, let Jesus go, and then I was going to tell them where they could go. You know, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Then, the crowd, they started chanting Barabbas. I mean, they were saying my name. They were saying it over and over. The guards, they shoved me in the crowd and took this Jesus off to Golgotha. It's funny. 1 minute, I was a man sentenced to death. The next minute, I'm free. Made no sense. So I followed them all the way to Golgotha.
I was stationed at Golgotha that day. We had just raised the second criminal up when they brought him to us. He was beaten, spit on, whipped. He was hideous. He didn't even look like a man. But that's what the crowd wanted. And that's when I had to go to work. When you crucify a man, the first hand is always the most difficult because the criminal is trying to get away from you, trying to pull it away. It takes 2 soldiers to hold down the first hand. But this man didn't do any of that. He just laid there. We put him on the cross. We stripped what was left of his clothes off. And he just laid there. I've been cursed at. I've been spit on. I've been pleaded with. But this man didn't say anything. I just thought he was exhausted. Then he looked at us. He looked at me. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He forgave me.
Forgive them? He said forgive them? Who is he? Forgive? I should have been the one up there. I was the one who was supposed to be hanging on that cross. But he took my place. And then I looked up. I remember him taking a deep, agonizing breath. He said, "It is finished." Then he died.
Surely, this man was the Son of God.